This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by College Recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career, and hosted by Work Defined. Join our AI co-hosts as they dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Let's get your career started.
Have you ever found yourself just staring at a job posting, scrolling through all the requirements and just thinking, what does fast-paced environment really mean?
Right. Or all those other buzzwords.
Exactly. Yeah. Or felt like maybe companies are speaking in some kind of, secret code?
Yeah, like corporate speak.
Throwing around these terms that, okay, they sound good on the surface, but they give you absolutely no clear picture of what the actual day-to-day is going to be like.
Or the company culture, yeah. What's it really like to work there?
It's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like you're trying to crack some hidden message just to apply for a job.
You are definitely not alone in feeling that way. It's almost like some job descriptions are intentionally vague sometimes.
You think so? Why?
Well, maybe to attract a really wide net of candidates. Or sometimes, let's be honest, maybe to mask realities they'd rather not shout about up front.
Okay.
But the good news is there are definitely ways to cut through that jargon, and understand the subtext.
And that is exactly what we're getting into today. Our whole mission with this deep dive is to equip you, our listener, with the essential tools you need, tools to decode those job descriptions. We want you to be able to spot the hidden meanings, recognize the real opportunities, and maybe most importantly, identify those red flags, the ones that could save you from a really, really incompatible career match.
That's crucial.
It's all about getting you well-informed, quickly, so you can make confident, empowered choices in your job search.
And for this deep dive, we've really pulled from a pretty diverse stack of sources. We wanted to make sure we got a comprehensive, multifaceted perspective. So we went beyond just the typical HR guidelines. We've got insights from seasoned career advisors, some academic research on organizational behavior.
Okay.
And importantly, the really candid, sometimes kind of cynical, but always illuminating perspectives of actual job seekers.
The people on the front lines.
Exactly. These are folks who've shared their unfiltered experiences, their translations of corporate speak, on forums, online, in conversations.
Real talk.
Yeah, it's a comprehensive, ground-level look at navigating this, often really frustrating part of the job search.
Okay, so let's start maybe by fundamentally reframing how we look at job descriptions.
Good idea.
Because I think we often approach them as just a definitive list of duties, right? Like a technical manual for the job.
SEDEC, yeah.
But our sources are pretty consistent here. They highlight that job descriptions are, at their core, much more dynamic than that. You should really think of a job posting as an advertisement.
Absolutely. That's the key mindset shift. It's primarily designed to attract candidates.
Right.
It's the company's initial sales pitch for the role. They're trying to make it sound as appealing as possible.
So, like any advert, maybe take it with a grain of salt.
Well, yeah, or at least analyze it critically. One source we looked at described it perfectly, I thought. They called a job posting a window into the company's soul.
I like that.
Because it's not just detailing the tasks you'll do. It's also, whether intentionally or not, revealing aspects of the company's culture, its expectations, its values.
Okay.
So when you break down a typical posting, you see the usual elements. Company info, often trying to sell their mission or industry position.
Yeah, the about us.
Right. Then details about benefits, a list of desired competencies, the required skills, and obviously, how to apply. Each one of those pieces is a clue. A breadcrumb, really, leading you towards a deeper understanding.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Like, A company that spends paragraphs detailing its commitment to sustainability.
Okay.
They might be signaling a culture that really values ethical practices. And for some candidates, that could be a huge draw, right? It tells you something beyond just the job tasks.
Got it. And speaking of crucial clues, one of the most critical distinctions our sources kept emphasizing, and it's one I think gets overlooked a lot.
What's that?
Is the difference between skills and competencies.
Ah, yes. Huge.
People use them interchangeably all the time, right? But understanding what they really mean is apparently a game changer for tailoring your application effectively, for showing you actually fit.
Precisely.
Right.
Let's really drill down on this because it is so important. Skills are the learned abilities you need for the job.
Learned. Okay.
Yeah. These are concrete, measurable things. Proficiencies you get through training or education or just doing the job.
Like what?
We're talking about things like being proficient in specific software, right?
Oh.
Knowing Salesforce or maybe programming languages like Python or JavaScript.
Technical stuff.
Mostly, yeah. Or holding specific certifications like a PMP for project managers or a license if you're, say, a nurse or therapist.
Gotcha.
These are characteristics of the job itself, what the role fundamentally demands you know how to do.
So, for instance, if you're applying for a financial analyst role, knowing Excel modeling inside out or knowing a specific reporting software, that's a skill.
Exactly. You learned how to do that.
Okay, so I see a job description for, say, a speech-language pathologist, and it mentions evaluating patients using standardized assessments or implementing evidence-based therapeutic procedures. Those are skills.
Spot on. They describe the actual actions, the tools, the methodologies you'd use, what you do in a very tangible sense.
Okay, crystal clear on skills. Now, competencies.
What are those then?
Competencies, on the other hand, are the attributes and behaviors that make you successful at the job.
Ah, the how.
Exactly. These are characteristics of the person and how they interact with their work and the world around them. It's less about what specific tool you use and more about how you use it or sort of who you are as a professional.
So like soft skills.
Yeah, skills are a big part of it,
Yeah.
Things like excellent communication skills, critical thinking, problem-solving ability,
Homework.
teamwork, collaboration, definitely, sensitivity to diverse populations, maybe the ability to work with minimal supervision. Think of them as the underlying traits that let you apply your technical skills effectively.
Okay, sticking with my speech-language pathologist example.
Go for it. If the posting says they need someone with excellent interpersonal communication skills to build rapport with patients and families.
Competency.
Or sensitivity to diverse cultural backgrounds.
Competency.
Or ability to work collaboratively in a multidisciplinary team.
Competency again. Or you might see terms like adaptability, critical thinking, complex problem solving. Those are all about the person's inherent qualities, how they approach their work, not a specific technical thing you learned.
Right. It's the difference between knowing how to use the assessment tool and being able to communicate the results sensitively to a family.
You've got it. And understanding this distinction is absolutely crucial for you, the job seeker.
Why? How does it help?
Because it helps you tailor everything, your resume, your cover letter, even how you answer interview questions. You need to show them both sides.
How so?
Well, you need to explicitly align your learned abilities, your skills with the job's technical demands. Maybe have a dedicated technical skills section on your resume using their keywords. Then you showcase your personal attributes, your competencies, by giving behavioral examples. Show how your communication or problem solving or leadership made a difference in a past role.
Ah, so don't just list communication skills.
Right. Give an example, like facilitated weekly team meetings, which improved cross-departmental collaboration by 20% and kept projects aligned. See? You link the competency to a real, quantifiable achievement.
That makes sense. It's about speaking their language, literally with keywords, but also figuratively, showing you get what qualities they actually value.
Exactly.
Okay, now here's something that trips up a lot of people, myself included sometimes. The wish list factor.
Ah, yes, the endless list of requirements.
It's so common to look at a job description and just feel instantly discouraged because you don't meet every single bullet point, right?
Right.
Especially when the list seems miles long.
It is incredibly common, and it's a huge mistake to let it stop you. Our sources are really clear on this. Many, if not most, job descriptions contain a wish list of ideal qualifications.
Not strict requirements.
Not always, no. They're not always strict, non-negotiable requirements that every single applicant must meet.
Why do they do that then? Just to scare people off?
Maybe sometimes it feels that way. But usually, they're hoping to find that mythical unicorn candidate who has everything, or they're just casting a wide net to see who applies, what skills are out there.
Okay.
For instance, if a job asks for 3 to 5 years of experience, it doesn't automatically mean 2.5 years disqualifies you, or that 6 years makes you overqualified. It often just signals they're targeting someone in the early to mid stages of their career. It's a range, a guideline.
And like if they list 5 different software programs and I only know 4?
Don't immediately count yourself out.
Yeah.
Seriously. One HR expert we consulted mentioned something interesting.
What was that?
They said candidates, especially women, tend to apply only if they meet 100% of the qualifications, whereas men often apply if they meet, say, 60, 70%.
Wow. So people are self-selecting out.
Massively. This self-imposed barrier means tons of capable people miss out on great opportunities because they don't tick every single box on that wish list.
So the advice is apply anyway, if you meet most of it.
If it's an otherwise great role, yeah. If you're genuinely excited about it and you meet the essential criteria, those non-negotiable skills and competencies we talked about,
Right.
Applying anyway is often a very smart strategy. The worst that happens is they say no, right?
Sure.
But you might just surprise them and yourself with how well your overall profile fits. Think about it. Maybe you're 80% there on the skills list, but you have exceptional communication skills or a really unique problem-solving approach.
Those competencies again.
Exactly. Those competencies might just outweigh a minor skill gap in their eyes.
Okay, let's dive into the real swamp now.
Hmm.
Those notorious job description buzzwords.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Employers just sprinkle them everywhere, don't they? Like glitter. Trying to describe the ideal candidate, the company culture, the job itself.
And sometimes they intend them positively. They're trying to convey good traits.
But they can be so confusing or vague.
Mm-hmm.
Or, as we're going to find out, sometimes they signal something. Well, less desirable. A potential red flag.
This is precisely where reading between the lines becomes absolutely essential, not just helpful, but vital.
Okay.
So let's start by unpacking some common positive buzzwords. What do employers typically intend them to mean when they use them?
All right, first one up, the classic, fast-paced work environment. What's the intended meaning?
Okay, intended meaning. Usually they're describing an organization that moves quickly, there's a strong sense of urgency,
Right.
It implies tight deadlines, probably frequent changes, and often a need for multitasking. From the company's viewpoint, they're trying to signal agility, dynamism, innovation.
Sounds energetic.
Yeah, a place where things get done, not bogged down in bureaucracy. They want someone who can keep up, who thrives in that kind of constantly evolving atmosphere, who doesn't get flustered by rapid shifts.
Okay, so that's the positive spin. What about another really common one? Self-starter. What are they hoping for there?
A self-starter. They're looking for someone who takes initiative, someone who acts without needing constant direction or micromanagement.
Independent.
Highly motivated, proactive, organized, someone who can tackle tasks efficiently and find solutions with minimal supervision. It signals they want independent contributors who can hit the ground running, manage their own workload, and solve problems without needing a detailed roadmap for every single step.
Speaks to trust, maybe.
Ideally, yes.
Yeah.
A level of trust in the employee's autonomy and judgment.
Okay. How about dynamic team player?
This one's intended to mean someone who not only works well with others in a team, but also shows some leadership qualities. Maybe steps up when needed. They need to adapt quickly to changing needs from colleagues, be flexible, collaborative, contribute positively.
So more than just getting along.
Yeah, it signals a culture that values synergy, collective effort, where people support each other. They want someone who can both lead and follow, depending on the situation, and contribute meaningfully.
Got it. What about innovative thinking?
Companies using this are hoping for employees with out-of-the-box ideas.
Creativity.
Yeah, fresh ideas, unique solutions, strategies maybe no one else has thought of. Constructively challenging norms, perhaps? The intent is to signal a culture of creativity, forward thinking, where new approaches are valued.
Okay. And results-oriented or results-driven. Sounds intense.
It implies the employee measures their own success by the tangible outcomes, the accomplishments, not just the effort they put in.
Focus on the finish line.
Right. They take initiative to make sure projects succeed, that their efforts lead to quantifiable achievements. For the employer, it signals a focus on performance, accountability, maybe a bottom-line mentality. They want impact.
Attention to detail. Seems straightforward.
Mostly, yeah. Employers value accuracy. They want someone with a keen eye ensuring precision, thoroughness, quality. Often used for roles where mistakes really matter, signals meticulousness.
Excellent communication skills. Always see this one.
Signals they want someone clear and effective, both written and verbal, talking to different audiences. Messages understood without ambiguity. Explaining complex stuff simply, writing good reports, persuasive presentations, clarity, conciseness, impact.
Proactive attitude.
Taking initiative before things become problems. Foreseeing challenges, anticipating needs, acting to prevent issues, not just reacting. They want forward thinkers, people who take ownership, look for improvements.
Multitasker. Still a thing.
Apparently. Companies often want people who can juggle multiple tasks, handle pressure without getting overwhelmed, implies diverse responsibilities, need for efficiency across projects, switching gears, prioritizing, staying productive under pressure.
Okay. Problem solver.
Thinking critically, analyzing situations, finding effective solutions when things go wrong or challenges pop up, assessing, breaking down, figuring out how to overcome obstacles, resilience, resourcefulness.
People person.
Strong interpersonal skills. Someone who connects easily, builds relationships, fosters positive interactions with clients, colleagues, whoever. Signals a role with lots of human interaction, needing emotional intelligence.
Strategic thinker.
They want someone who can analyze the big picture, develop a long-term strategy, and then execute it. Thinking ahead, planning, understanding broader implications, not just reacting, contributing to organizational goals.
And lastly, customer service oriented.
Means they want someone who consistently provides excellent service. Making customers feel valued, heard, supported, signals a company that prioritizes client satisfaction, building positive relationships.
Okay, so those are the intended meanings.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
The ideal picture employers want to paint?
Right, the positive interpretation.
But now, let's pull back that curtain. Because as much as employers use these words for the ideal, the very same words can also be used, maybe deliberately, maybe not. To sugarcoat a less than ideal situation, this is where those red flags come in. And spotting them is absolutely crucial.
Absolutely. It's paramount to be aware of these, let's say, more cynical interpretations. Let's go back to fast-paced environment.
Okay. Red flag meaning.
Well, it can mean agile and exciting, like we said. It can also be a major red flag. It might imply a chaotic, disorganized workplace, constantly shifting priorities, unrealistic expectations, maybe a lack of clear strategy from the top.
I've definitely heard people interpret it that way, especially online, like on Reddit or forum.
Oh, yeah. Tech professionals in particular have some very strong takes on this. One Reddit user I remember seeing on a developer forum said fast-paced basically means no code review, no design review, and ship new features as fast as possible.
Yikes. So cutting corners.
Exactly. Leading to what they call technical debt.
Explain technical debt quickly.
Sure. It's like the hidden cost of choosing a quick, easy fix now instead of a better, more solid approach that would take longer. It builds up over time, making future changes harder, slower, buggier.
Got it.
Another common cynical translation of fast-paced is simply understaffed.
Doing more with less.
Right. Or management has no conviction in their strategy, so we pivot constantly, which often means frequent changes in direction, leading to a lot of rework for the employees.
So it's less about efficiency and more like a sales pitch for stress.
Could be. A sales pitch for a high-stress, maybe unsustainable work environment. Definitely something to probe in an interview.
Okay. What about self-starter as a red flag?
When self-starter is a red flag, it often implies there's very little, maybe even no guidance, no mentorship, maybe not even basic support from management.
So you're just thrown in the deep end.
Pretty much. You're largely on your own to figure things out. You might lack the resources, the training, even the established processes you need to actually do your job well.
What's the cynical translation people use?
The one I hear a lot, often from former employees, is basically, we have zero training resources or onboarding process, so good luck.
Ouch.
Yeah, it can signal a real lack of structured support, leaving new hires feeling isolated and totally overwhelmed.
And dynamic team player, how can that be bad?
Well, sometimes it can signal high turnover. The dynamic part is because new people are constantly coming and going.
A revolving door.
Making true team cohesion really difficult. Or it could mean you're expected to wear many hats, take on multiple roles and responsibilities.
Go creep.
Big time. Even stuff far outside your job description and likely without any extra pay or formal recognition. It might just be a polite way of saying, be prepared to fill any gap anytime.
Innovative thinking is a red flag. Seems counterintuitive.
While ideally it means creativity, yeah. It might imply the employer wants you to do all the creative heavy lifting with no meaningful input or support from leadership.
Or the opposite.
Or the opposite, expecting you to just think inside the box and validate their existing ideas rather than genuinely bringing new disruptive ones. Sometimes it means they want innovation, but without the risk or investment needed, like go be innovative, but don't spend any money or change anything fundamental.
Okay, results-oriented. Potential downside.
Could suggest totally unrealistic expectations, or an excessive focus on outcomes without any consideration for the process or the challenges faced along the way.
Leading to unreasonable deadlines.
Unreasonable deadlines, maybe working crazy hours to meet them. It can also hint at a blame culture if targets aren't met, rather than a supportive environment that learns from setbacks.
Attention to detail. What's the dark side of that?
This phrase might indicate a job bogged down in tedious, repetitive paperwork. Or maybe an overly strict office culture where tiny mistakes are blown way out of proportion.
Or micromanagement.
Definitely. Could signal a micromanaging boss who scrutinizes every little thing, stifling your autonomy, and just creating constant anxiety.
And excellent communication skills. How could that be negative?
This can be a subtle one. It might imply overly specific, almost rigid communication expectations.
Like you have to talk a certain way.
Exactly. Maybe conform to certain norms. Use particular corporate jargon, specific phrases. It can limit authentic expression and maybe even discourage open feedback if it doesn't fit the approved script.
Okay, now let's get into some of the phrases that seasoned job seekers often see as immediate flashing red lights, like we work hard, we play hard.
Ah, the classic. This one is frequently code for a sweatshop environment.
Really?
Often, yeah. It usually means long, exhausting hours are the norm, the expected standard. And the play hard part. Minimal benefits. Maybe a ping pong table nobody has time for.
Or pizza during late night.
Exactly. Or an occasional, often mandatory happy hour where everyone just talks shop anyway. One source put it very bluntly. It can translate to, we will work you until you die.
Whim.
Or your play is the free food we provide while you work late. It sounds balanced, but it often masks a completely unsustainable workload and zero real work-life separation.
Okay. What about we're like a family? Sounds nice.
Almost universally cited by experienced folks as a major red flag.
Why? What's wrong with family?
It often implies an abusive family dynamic in the workplace, meaning blurred boundaries, an expectation of loyalty that goes way beyond professional conduct. Potential for emotional manipulation, where you're guilt-tripped into making personal sacrifices for the family.
Usually without fair compensation.
Usually without fair compensation or even basic respect for your personal time. You might hear people who miss that kind of place, but often it's after they've left and sort of romanticized it. In reality, a family at work often means dealing with internal drama, pressure to conform in unprofessional ways, and this constant expectation that you'll put the company's needs way above your own, but without the genuine support a healthy family provides.
Got it. Avoid the work family. What about those heroic-sounding titles, like Rockstar, Ninja, Jedi?
Or a jack of all trades, wear many hats.
Yeah, those?
Typically means one thing. You'll be doing the work of multiple people.
Understaffed again.
Exactly. It's a kind of silly, maybe slightly manipulative way of saying they need someone to handle an excessive workload, likely leading to unpaid overtime and rapid burnout. If you see rockstar needed, be prepared for a gig that demands absolutely everything.
But without the actual perks of being a rock star.
Precisely. No fame, no fortune, maybe not even adequate support. It's just a marketing gimmick to make an overbearing role sound exciting.
Okay. Competitive salary. This one always feels suspicious.
And it usually is. Almost universally, this is a red flag for below average pay.
Really? Why not just say the salary?
Because it's probably low. It often implies minimum wage or significantly less than the industry standard for that role, that location. If they can't be transparent about the actual salary range up front.
It's usually not competitive.
It's usually not a good sign, no. A genuinely competitive salary is often advertised with a clear range, or at least they're willing to discuss it openly early on. Vague phrasing suggests they want to pay as little as possible, or they're trying not to scare off candidates who actually know the market rate.
Okay. Flexible schedule or go-getter sounds positive.
Can be code for unpaid overtime.
Wow.
They sound appealing, like you get autonomy. But without clear boundaries or explicit company policies, flexible often means you're expected to be available and working outside typical hours whenever the work needs to get done.
Blurring the lines.
Totally blurring the lines between work and personal life, usually to the company's benefit, not yours.
What about the more direct ones, like available 24/7 or OT as needed?
Those are pretty unambiguous signals of heavy workloads and an expectation that your schedule can change without much notice. It's a stark warning sign.
Means your personal time is not really respected.
It strongly suggests your personal time, weekends, even holidays might be consistently encroached upon, especially common in certain industries, healthcare, hospitality, some tech support roles. It signals a lack of respect for work-life balance right from the get-go.
Okay. Uncapped commission. Sounds like big money potential.
Usually the opposite. If the commission is uncapped, it's probably because achieving a meaningful amount is incredibly difficult.
The targets are too high.
The targets are probably nearly impossible to hit consistently, or the base pay is so low that a cap isn't even necessary. It's designed to sound like limitless earning potential, but the reality is often disappointing.
And those crazy wide salary ranges, like 20K to 100K.
Yeah, those are almost always an indicator that the actual pay will be at the absolute bottom end of that range.
Why list the high end then?
To cast a wide net, attract attention, maybe get past automated filters looking for higher salaries, but don't expect the 100-pound K. One career counselor we saw noted there really should be laws requiring realistic, narrower salary ranges for transparency. If a company actually values you, they'll give you a reasonable, narrower range.
Makes sense. Willingness to adapt to the needs of the business. Sounds reasonable.
Can be a red flag for chaos. It often signals frequent, maybe even whimsical changes in management's mind, or sudden added scope to projects without adjusting timelines or resources.
Leading to rework.
Leading to frustrating rework, wasted effort, and potentially blaming employees for delays that were actually caused by leadership's indecision or poor planning. It implies a lack of consistent strategy.
Other duties as assigned. See this everywhere. Always bad.
Not always. It is a pretty standard phrase, legally protective for the company. However, it can mean management wants total flexibility to dump anything on you, work far outside your expertise, or just being the general catch-all for whatever needs doing.
Including the unpleasant stuff.
Including what some disgruntled employees very cynically call bitch work, the menial, undesirable tasks nobody else wants, regardless of your actual job title or skill level. You got to consider it in the context of the rest of the description.
Okay, and finally, must be target-driven and target-focused.
This can sometimes imply that the goalposts will constantly be moved.
To avoid paying bonuses.
Exactly. To prevent you from actually achieving bonuses or commissions, it suggests an environment where targets are perpetually just out of reach, designed to incentivize constant, maybe exhaustive effort, but without the full payout or recognition. Hints at an employer who wants maximum output for minimum reward.
Wow. Okay, so that's the job description itself. But what about after you apply?
Yeah.
The language from recruiters or those automated emails, that can be confusing too.
Oh, definitely. That recruiter speak can be just as templated and frustrating as the postings. Understanding it can save you a lot of guesswork and emotional energy.
Let's decode some common ones. First up, we'll keep your application on file and be in touch if another position becomes available. What does that really mean?
Almost universally, it means, you didn't get this job. It's generic rejection language.
So they won't actually keep it on file?
They might, technically, in some massive database. But is anyone actively looking through those old files for new roles? Highly, highly unlikely, especially if you never even spoke to a human.
Right. The applicant tracking systems, the ATS.
Exactly. They process thousands of applications. Keeping on file is usually just passive storage. The advice here is crystal clear. If you see another relevant job at that company that you're excited about,
reapply.
Always reapply directly. Don't wait for them to magically remember you and reach out. Your proactive reapplication is always going to be more effective.
Okay. Next phrase, join our talent community to keep in touch about relevant opportunities. sounds proactive.
It sounds proactive for them. It's mostly a way for companies to build a big database of potential candidates they can email blast later.
So not very effective for the job seeker.
Not really, no. While you might get occasional emails about new openings or company news, direct applications for specific roles are always, always better. These talent pools can be enormous, tens, hundreds of thousands of people. Your individual visibility is practically zero.
So don't rely on it.
Don't rely on it as your main strategy, no. It's passive.
What about when they say you can apply again in another 6 months? Is that a hard rule?
Usually not. It's often more of a suggestion or a guideline, maybe to manage the volume of repeat applicants.
So you can apply sooner?
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Many companies don't actually have systems that strictly prevent you from reapplying sooner. Or if they do, it might be a soft block easily bypassed. If you see another job later that is a great match and you feel qualified, go ahead and apply sooner.
What are the worst that can happen?
They reject you again. You haven't really lost anything by trying.
Right. Okay, and the classic rejection line. We're moving forward with candidates whose experience better aligns with the role. Does that mean my experience wasn't aligned?
Almost never take it personally. This is pretty much always generic, templated language from a rejection email.
So it doesn't mean anything specific?
It could, possibly. Maybe they really did need one niche skill you didn't have, or maybe your experience level was genuinely off, too junior, too senior. But more often, it just means they had a ton of strong candidates and someone else was just a slightly better fit on paper, or maybe they hired internally. It's impossible to know without feedback.
Can you ask for feedback?
You can always ask politely, but be prepared for a hit or miss response. Many companies are wary of giving detailed feedback because of potential legal concerns.
So don't dwell on it.
Honestly, it's usually easier to just assume they had lots of applicants and move on. The bottom line with a lot of this recruiter speak is it's standardized language used across the industry. It often doesn't say much about your specific application. Don't take it personally.
Okay, so we've dissected the words, the intended meanings, the red flags. But a job description, as you said, is only one piece. What's often not said, or just subtly implied, about the company culture.
Yeah.
That seems just as maybe even more important for your long-term happiness in a job.
Absolutely critical. Company culture. It's that unique blend, isn't it? Beliefs, behaviors, values, the whole atmosphere in a workplace.
Yeah, vibe.
Right. It covers everything from the CEO's leadership style, how decisions get made, the unspoken rules about work-life balance, even the office dress code.
It matters because
it dictates whether you'll actually thrive there, feel supported, engaged, or if you'll just be enduring a soul-crushing daily grind that leaves you drained and miserable.
Even if the job tests seem perfect.
Even then, accepting a job where the culture is just fundamentally incompatible with who you are, that can lead to a really painful mismatch.
So how do we, as job seekers, proactively research this kind of fuzzy culture thing beyond just reading the company's shiny About Us page? What are the practical steps?
You've got several really good avenues. Start with the company website, yes, but dig deeper than just skimming.
What should we look for?
Really review the About Us, Our Story, and especially the career sections. This is where they try to sell themselves, outline their mission, their core values. Sometimes they even showcase employee experiences through testimonials or spotlights.
Okay.
Look for videos, interviews with leaders, recent news articles. Get behind the scenes if you can. And pay close attention to the language they use.
Oh, so?
Is it super jargon heavy or is it clear? Does it sound authentic or just like polished PR speak? And really reflect. Do their stated values actually resonate with your own beliefs?
Like if they say they value work-life balance.
But every employee testimonial mentions working 80-hour wits. That's a major disconnect right there.
Okay, so that's their official story, their curated image. How do we get the more unfiltered, maybe more realistic view, something beyond the spin?
For that, social media and those employee review sites, Glassdoor, Indeed, even Reddit sometimes are invaluable.
How do you use social media for this?
Follow their official company accounts, LinkedIn, maybe TikTok, Instagram. Observe their tone, the language in their posts, the kind of content they share. Does it feel stiff and corporate or more human and engaging? Gives you clues about their public personality.
And Glassdoor. That's the big one for reviews, right?
Yeah. Glassdoor specifically gives you reviews from current and former employees. It can offer really unfiltered glimpses into what it's actually like.
But you have to read carefully.
Definitely. Don't just read the 5-star glowing reviews. Pay close attention to patterns in the complaints or recurring themes in the negative reviews. If multiple people mention toxic management or unrealistic deadlines or constant micromanagement,
take it seriously.
Those are significant patterns you need to note. One bad review could be a disgruntled employee, but multiple people saying the same thing. That's telling.
And you mentioned looking for hiring patterns on those sites too, as red flags.
Absolutely. If you see the same exact job being posted over and over again, week after week, month after month.
It means high turnover for that role.
It can be a strong indicator of high turnover, yeah. Suggests people aren't staying long in that position, which is a big red flag. Why are they leaving?
Makes sense.
Similarly, if a company seems to be always hiring across lots of different departments, but you don't see clear signs of rapid, sustained growth or expansion.
It might mean they're just replacing people constantly.
It might suggest a struggle with overall employee retention, yeah, rather than healthy growth. A healthy company usually grows its workforce steadily, not just churns through people.
Okay, so online research is good. What about getting a direct first-hand account, something unfiltered by PR or online anonymity?
Speaking directly to current or former employees is the absolute gold standard here.
How do you even do that?
Official content is polished, right? Real employees offer first-hand insights beyond that gloss. You can seek connections through professional networking events, maybe career fairs, or alumni networks from your university or college.
LinkedIn.
Hey, this is William Tincup, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Practitioner Corner podcast. It's a wonderful podcast about the journey, the paths of how practitioners, both HR and TA, kind of go from high school, college, all the way to where they are right now, some of the things that they've learned, how they've been successful, people that thrive around them, etc. It's a fun podcast. You'll love it. You'll learn from it. Subscribe to it. Thanks.
LinkedIn is perfect for this. Find people who work there or used to work there. Politely reach out and ask for a brief informational interview, just 15 minutes of their time.
What would you ask them?
Ask about their day-to-day experiences, the company's real strengths, how management actually operates, any challenges they've faced. You could ask something like, what's one thing you wish you knew before you started working there?
Ooh, good question.
Or, how does a company typically support employees when things get really busy or stressful? This gives you invaluable, honest perspectives you just won't find anywhere else.
What about people with access to, like, university resources?
Yeah.
Students or alumni? Is there anything special they can use?
Yes. Library databases, often accessible through university portals, are an absolute gold mine for this kind of research.
What kind of info is in there?
In-depth company profiles, detailed industry reports, market analysis, news archives. You can learn about their financial health, their competitive landscape, recent innovations, any regulatory issues they've faced.
So it gives you context.
Huge context. Not just cultural insights, but operational ones too. And it gives you a massive competitive edge in interviews. You can ask super informed questions, show you've really done your homework. Knowing, for example, that they just expanded into a new market lets you ask targeted questions about their growth strategy. Shows real interest.
Okay, so after all that digging, website, reviews, talking to people, maybe databases, how do we interpret what's not being said back in the original job description? Because sometimes silence speaks volumes, right?
It really does. A significant lack of information about key things like how teams typically interact or the management style or any details on work-life balance that can be very telling.
What might it mean?
Could mean a few things. Maybe those aspects just haven't been properly thought through by the company, or maybe they prefer to discuss those sensitive topics only during interviews, which is a choice, right? Maybe trying to filter candidates.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say a job description for a legal support role heavily emphasizes extremely urgent deadlines and high-pressure situations.
Okay.
But makes absolutely no mention of team assistance, peer support, or any mechanisms for managing that stress. That silence is a pretty big red flag.
Suggests you might be on your own.
It suggests you might face those intense stressors without the necessary backing or resources to cope effectively. Similarly, if a job description only lists responsibilities but says nothing about career growth paths or learning opportunities,
might indicate a dead-end job.
Could indicate a stagnant environment, yeah, where development isn't a priority.
And even vague details about benefits can be clues, right?
Oh, absolutely. Vague stuff like just saying competitive salary without specifics or comprehensive benefits package without elaborating. Those definitely warrant more investigation during the interview process.
But what they do list can be revealing too.
Definitely. What benefits are explicitly listed tells you a lot about a company's priorities. If they heavily promote extensive professional development allowances and tuition reimbursement,
shows they invest in growth.
Right. If they emphasize wellness programs, generous parental leave, mental health support.
Shows commitment to well-being.
Exactly. These details offer a window into what the company genuinely values and where it's actually willing to put its money when it comes to its people.
Okay, this ties into both culture and what's unsaid, and it feels like a huge topic right now. Workplace flexibility.
Massive.
Our sources highlight this as a major trend that's completely reshaped what candidates expect. It's not just a perk anymore, is it?
Not at all. It's increasingly an expectation. The data is pretty stark. Something like 87% of U.S. workers now expect some form of flexibility in their roles.
And flexibility can mean different things.
It's a wide spectrum, yeah. Includes hybrid work models, some days in office, some remote, fully remote roles, obviously. 4-day work weeks are gaining traction, truly unlimited paid time off, or PTO.
If used correctly.
If used correctly, yes. Or innovative schedules like 980 scheduling.
Okay, remind us what 980 scheduling is again.
Sure. A 980 schedule means you work your standard 80 hours over 9 days within a 2-week period instead of 10.
How does that work out?
Typically, you work slightly longer days, maybe 9 hours instead of 8 for 8 of those days and 1 8-hour day. That adds up to 80 hours. And the benefit, you get every other Friday off.
Ah, a consistent 3-day weekend every 2 weeks.
Exactly. It's a clever way to offer significant work-life balance and flexibility without actually reducing total work hours or pay. For many people, managing personal life, appointments, or just having that longer break is incredibly appealing.
And the benefits of flexibility, broadly speaking, seem huge for everyone involved.
They are profound, yeah. For employees, it boosts well-being, cuts down stress, increases job satisfaction, better work-life integration, managing family, health needs. For people with disabilities, it can be a game changer, opening up opportunities.
And for employers, why should they care?
Huge advantages for them, too. Offering flexibility massively expands their talent pool. They can hire the best person, not just the best person who lives nearby.
Makes sense.
It reduces recruitment costs, speeds up hiring. It attracts those highly sought-after passive candidates, the ones who aren't actively looking but might be tempted by a better, more flexible offer.
And productivity, people worry about that.
Studies consistently show remote and flexible workers are often more productive. Fewer office distractions, more autonomy. Plus, a workforce with diverse perspectives, which flexibility helps foster, boosts innovation and profitability. And, crucially, it improves employee retention. People stay longer if they feel trusted and have flexibility.
Despite all that evidence, there's still this ongoing return to office push from some companies, right? Which some sources see as a big cultural red flag.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting and sometimes pretty contentious.
Why push back if the data supports flexibility?
Despite that data showing no significant productivity hit for remote work, some leaders still have deep concerns. Often it boils down to a desire for traditional oversight, seeing people at their desks.
Absenteeism.
Right, or a perceived loss of that spontaneous water cooler innovation, which they think only happens in person. Or sometimes it's just a deep-seated belief that presence equals productivity, which isn't always true.
So that RTO push can be a red flag because...
Yeah. Because, especially if it's forced or lacks a really clear, logical rationale, it can signal a less trusting, less adaptable work environment. It shows a potential disconnect from what modern employees want and expect.
Maybe reliance on outdated management styles.
Could be. Or an underlying desire for control, rather than a genuine focus on output and employee well-being. It might suggest they value traditional appearances over actual results. Or maybe their managers just aren't equipped or trained to lead a distributed workforce effectively.
Okay. So for the companies that do genuinely get it, the ones embracing flexibility, what are the best practices they use? What can we, as job seekers, look for as signs they're doing it right?
The leading companies get that flexibility isn't just about where you work, it's about building a culture of trust.
How do they show that trust?
Offering things like truly unlimited PTO is one sign, but crucially, they have managers who actively encourage employees to take it. They foster an environment where taking time off isn't seen as slacking or penalized.
Got it. It's not just policy, it's practice.
Exactly. They tend to adopt more hands-off management styles, focusing on outcomes and results, not just hours spent online. They invest heavily in learning and development opportunities for all employees, regardless of location. And they actually assess for flexibility skills during hiring.
Like what skills?
Time management, self-motivation, strong written communication, things that are essential for succeeding remotely or in a hybrid setup. They want to make sure you can handle that autonomy.
And it seems important that flexibility is offered broadly, not just as a special exception.
Absolutely key. The best companies make it clear that flexibility is available to everyone who can reasonably do their job that way, not just a select few based on personal circumstances. They design structured, flexible policies with clear boundaries and expectations. Everyone knows how it works.
You mentioned something really important earlier, costs. How do good companies handle the costs of remote work?
This is a big differentiator. Leading companies introduce reimbursements or stipends specifically for remote working costs.
Like for internet or equipment.
Exactly. Equipment, high-speed internet, maybe even power bills or ergonomic furniture. Some even offer stipends for things like gym memberships to support well-being outside the traditional office environment.
What does that signal?
It signals they're not just cutting their own office costs and pushing that burden onto the employee. It shows they're genuinely investing in supporting a productive and healthy home office setup, values the remote workforce equally.
That makes a big difference. And it's not just internal stuff, right? It's how they present themselves externally.
Totally. They actively get feedback from their current staff about flexible work arrangements and use that to adjust their employer branding. They make flexibility a core part of their PR strategy, promoting it heavily on their careers pages during virtual job fairs and webinars. They also might offer specific benefits designed to appeal to certain groups, maybe enhanced wellness reimbursements, better support for new parents, options for reduced hours during certain life stages, all to attract and retain a really diverse, engaged workforce. It shows their commitment is authentic and visible.
And we've seen real companies succeed with this, right? It's not just theory.
Oh, absolutely. There are great examples. Crunchbase went remote first after doing their research. They found it opened up a huge global talent pool. Now they have a really high Glassdoor rating, like 4.1, showing employees are happy.
Anyone else?
Airbnb is famous for its live and work anywhere approach, announced back in 2022. They saw a massive spike in job interest, like 800,000 people hit their careers page in a month. And employees reported feeling more connected, interestingly.
Wow.
And another one, Allie, they do digital products. They have a strong Glassdoor rating, too, around 3.8. A big part of that is their flexible PTO and equipment stipends, which lets them hire skilled people worldwide. These companies prove flexibility isn't just a nice perk, it's a smart strategic advantage.
Okay, so we've armed ourselves with all this insight, decoding the jargon, assessing the culture, understanding flexibility. How do we actually use this now? As job seekers, it's one thing to understand the language, but how do we empower our search and really increase our chances of landing the right role? Not just any role.
Great question. The first absolutely crucial step is to strategically tailor your application materials, your resume, your cover letter.
How specifically?
You need to prioritize those essential skills and competencies we talked about earlier, the non-negotiables for the role.
Right.
Explicitly highlight how you meet those essentials, and this is key.
Yeah.
Use the exact terminology from the job description whenever possible.
Why the exact words? Just for humans reading it?
For humans, yes, but also critically for the applicant tracking systems, the ATS software. They often scan for specific keywords. If the description says Python proficiency, your resume needs that exact phrase.
Okay. And back it up with proof.
Always back it up with concrete evidence and achievements. Use metrics, numbers, data wherever you possibly can. Don't just say you managed projects.
Okay.
Say you managed 5 projects, leading to a 15% increase in efficiency and completing them 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Quantify your impact.
So be specific, use their language, prove it with numbers. What about the nice-to-haves?
Strategically integrate those desirable skills too. Mention them, explain how they add value to your profile, but make sure your main focus stays laser sharp on demonstrating how you meet those core essential requirements.
And be honest.
Oh, absolutely. This might sound obvious, but it's critical. Only apply if you genuinely meet the essential criteria. Misrepresenting your qualifications is a terrible idea. It can lead to struggling badly in the role or even having an offer rescinded later. Just don't do it.
Okay, tailoring is key. Now, here's where I think it gets really empowering. The interview.
Yes.
So many job seekers feel like they're just passively answering questions, like an interrogation.
Right, like they're on trial.
But interviews are a two-way street. This is your chance to ask a proactive, smart questions. Questions that not only show you're engaged, but also help you figure out if this company, this role, this culture is actually a good fit for you.
100%. Don't be afraid to ask direct, thoughtful questions. It's expected, and it shows you're serious.
What kind of questions? Like about work-life balance?
Definitely. You could ask things like, When was the last time people on this team needed to work over a weekend, and how often does that typically happen? Or roughly how many people are usually online and actively working after standard hours?
Getting specific again.
Getting specific. And if they mention unlimited PTO, you absolutely must follow up. Say something like, that sounds like a great benefit. Can you tell me, on average, how much vacation time do individuals on this team typically take in a year?
That gets at the reality behind the policy.
Exactly. Does the culture actually support taking time off? Or is it just theoretically unlimited but frowned upon in practice? If the answer is vague or not much, that's a potential red flag.
Smart. What about probing the day-to-day work environment?
You could ask, how are conflicts within the team or sudden surges in workload typically handled? Or what are the typical project timelines for this kind of role? And how often do project requirements or priorities tend to shift unexpectedly?
What does that tell you?
It tells you a lot about how organized, supportive, and predictable or unpredictable the environment is. Does it match how you like to work?
And asking about growth.
Crucial. Inquire. What specific performance metrics are used for this role, and how is feedback usually delivered? Or what are the typical growth opportunities within the department, and what professional development programs are available? Shows you're thinking long term.
And we can use what we learned about buzzwords here too, right? Ask about them directly.
Yes. This is your prime opportunity. If they use terms like fast-paced or innovative in the description, call them on it politely. Ask, you mentioned a fast-paced environment. Could you give me a specific example of what that looks like in a typical week for this team? How are rapid changes managed without sacrificing quality?
Puts them on the spot a bit, but in a good way.
In a good way. It shows you're paying attention and you want substance, not just buzzwords. Or if they mention innovation, ask, what's a recent innovation this team implemented? And what was the process like from the initial idea to execution?
Digging deeper.
Digging deeper into team interaction styles, decision-making processes, the real management philosophy. Your thoughtful questions signal you've done your homework and you're looking for a genuine mutual fit.
Okay, what about salary and benefits? How do we probe that competitive salary thing without sounding like we only care about money?
It's usually best to discuss compensation in later interview stages, not right at the beginning. But when the time comes, you need clarity. Politely ask about the full compensation package, not just the base salary range. Ask about potential performance bonuses, the details of health benefits, premiums, deductibles, retirement plans like 401k matching, any stock options, and other perks, stipends for professional development, wellness programs, remote work support. You need the total picture to compare offers accurately.
And for jobs with specific industry challenges, like healthcare shifts or construction safety.
Ask specifically how those are managed, how are on-call rotations typically handled, and what support is provided during off hours, or what measures are in place to ensure safety compliance on demanding projects. Show you understand the unique pressures and want to know how they support employees through them.
And here's the crucial takeaway, maybe. If asking these kinds of direct, probing, intelligent questions actually gets you rejected.
It's a bullet dodged. Seriously.
You probably didn't want to work there anyway.
Exactly. A transparent, healthy company with a good culture will welcome your thoughtful questions. They'll see it as a sign you're engaged, smart, and serious about finding the right long-term fit, which benefits them just as much as it benefits you. Evasion or defensiveness is a huge red flag in itself.
Okay, one last really important area.
Yeah.
Spotting fake job postings and outright scams. Because sadly, they're out there.
They are very real, and job seekers need to be vigilant. It's heartbreaking when people get taken in.
So what are the absolute clearest red flags that should make someone slam on the brakes?
Any request for you to pay money up front is a massive, immediate red flag. Fees for training, background checks, equipment, software. Legitimate employers will never ask you to pay to work for them, period.
Okay, what else?
Be extremely wary of jobs offering too good to be true salaries, especially if they also claim no experience required, like $5,000 a week for basic data entry, highly suspicious, often linked to pyramid schemes, check cashing scams, or money laundering.
And requests for personal info.
Never, ever provide sensitive personal information, social security number, bank account details, date of birth early in the application process, especially not before you've had a formal interview and verified the company is legitimate. That info is typically only needed after you've accepted a formal job offer for official HR onboarding.
So due diligence is absolutely critical. How do you do that?
Always cross-reference. Check LinkedIn and Glassdoor for company reviews. See if the hiring manager or recruiter actually exists and works there. Research the company itself. Are they real? Do they have a professional website? For public companies, check financial statements. For nonprofits, look for their public IRS, Form 990, or audit statements.
Check the contact info.
Yes. Does the job posting appear on the company's official website careers page? Is the contact email address from the company's domain, like at companyname.com, or is it a generic Gmail, Hotmail, or Yahoo address? Generic emails are often a scam indicator. And like we said before, if a company is always hiring for the same role constantly, or the job keeps reappearing, be cautious.
Yeah.
Could be high turnover, could be fake.
Another potential flag could be the hiring process itself.
Right.
If it's super long or weird.
Definitely. An excessively long, drawn out, or really convoluted hiring process can signal problems. Maybe it's just extreme bureaucracy or a disorganized HR department.
Or something worse.
Or, unfortunately, sometimes it's a thinly veiled attempt to get free work out of you. Asking you to complete extensive, unpaid skill tests that are basically real work projects. Or putting you through multiple, seemingly pointless interview rounds that don't progress, or asking you to develop a full strategy or plan as part of the interview, which they then use without ever hiring you.
So a good process should be
efficient, transparent, and respectful of your time. A few focused interviews, clear next steps, a reasonable timeline. If you feel like you're being strung along for weeks or months with no clarity, trust your gut. Be cautious.
And one last point, vague job titles for specific work.
Yes, be very wary if the title doesn't really match the responsibilities listed. The classic example is a marketing manager title, but the description is clearly about commission-only, door-to-door sales.
A bait and switch.
Exactly. Always read the duties carefully. Do they align with the title and your expectations? Also, watch out for generic titles like project coordinator when the duties are actually highly technical and specialized. They might be trying to underpay for a more complex role by using a vaguer, lower-level title. Hashtag, tag, outro.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it feels incredibly clear that decoding job descriptions isn't just helpful. It's an absolutely essential, empowering skill for anyone navigating the job market today.
Totally agree. It's not just about keyword stuffing your resume to get past the ATS bots.
No. It's about becoming a bit of a detective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Understanding the overt signals, the subtle ones, what employers are actually saying, and sometimes what they're maybe trying very hard not to say.
And by learning to read between those lines, you really can save yourself so much time, so much emotional energy. You can avoid work environments that just aren't right for you, sidestep those unrealistic expectations, steer clear of roles with terrible benefits or toxic cultures.
It really shifts the power dynamic, doesn't it?
It does. It helps you make informed, proactive choices that genuinely align with your career goals, your personal values, your needs for work-life integration. It transforms you from just being a passive applicant, kind of hoping for the best, into an active, strategic participant in crafting your own career journey.
Which leads us to a final, maybe provocative thought for you, our listener, to chew on as you go forward, armed with these new decoding skills.
Okay.
We spent a lot of time talking about what employers are looking for, what signals they're sending, what red flags they might be waving. Mm-hmm. But what about your side of the equation? What aspects of your own work preferences, maybe your ideal work-life balance, the kind of management style you truly thrive under, the pace of work you genuinely prefer, your non-negotiable needs for autonomy versus structure and support? What aspects do you sometimes overlook or downplay when you get excited about a potential new job?
That's a really good question. Turning the lens inward.
Exactly. How aware are you, really, of your own personal non-negotiables for your next role? Because ultimately, being sharply aware of those internal expectations, those requirements you bring to the table, that's the ultimate decoding tool, isn't it?
It has to be. Knowing yourself is key.
So the question to ponder is, how can you ensure that your next deep dive into a potential role isn't just about finding a good job, but about finding the role that is truly the right one for you?
This has been From Dorms to Desks, job hunting tips for those early in their careers. A podcast brought to you by college recruiter job search site, which believes that every student and recent grad deserves a great career. Each episode, we dive into tips, tricks, and insights that will help you land your next part-time, seasonal, internship, or entry-level job. Subscribe to this podcast for free now, so you don't miss an episode, and visit www.collegerecruiter.com to find your next great job.